Hello everyone and welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, where I'll be giving you just 2 tips for tomorrow's racing, where I'll be focusing on the action at Taunton. A little bit of a frustrating day today, however we did have a 5-1 nap winner with Ollie's Wishes, which we put up at 5-1. Well gambled on in the end for the Skeltons. It was a little bit of a nervy watch. She did make a mistake halfway during the race, and she nearly unshipped Harry Skelton, but it was a good sit by him, and in the end she was quite a convincing winner and she got the job done at Hereford. So that was a positive there. Away from that, we had a few unlucky stories today. Some rain, just bumped into one in Joke Dancer today, was running there very strongly in the dying strides, but just couldn't get up, and in the end, like I said, just bumped into Joke Dancer today, who was back on his last winning mark. Also as well, we had a second with Hoi Polloi, a third with Bumpy Johnson, and a second as well with Elaine de Balm, who I thought, actually, to be fair to that horse, did run a really good race, and that race was actually won by Cuban Pete, who was a winner for us, you might remember, back in towards the end of October when he won at Stratford. So yeah, a little bit of a frustrating day today. And the other selection I should mention as well, Ballydoyle, again, was well found in the market, but we knew the writing was on the wall from quite an early stage. Tom Queally never looked particularly happy. He was niggling along at certain times during the race, and then when he asked him to go and pick up, he just couldn't find anything, and yeah, very frustrating there. So all in all, it has been a little bit frustrating today. If a couple of those near misses had gone our way, especially in the case of some rain, it would have been a profitable day today, but at least Ollie's Wishes covered pretty much the majority of our tips today, and in the end it's just a very small loss we have to suffer. But hopefully we can build on that with my nap and transfer it into tomorrow's tips, and hopefully we can get 2 profitable tips tomorrow. And we're going to be focusing my attention to Taunton, where, to be fair, I didn't really fancy too much some of the other meetings tomorrow. I thought Taunton actually was quite a good card to get stuck into, to have a couple of bets. So yeah, I've got a couple of strong fancies there tomorrow. And we're going to start in the 111 actually, the unusual new race times. And this is a novice's handicap hurdle. Don't see too many of these types of race either. But I think the one in here to play with, and this is going to be my next best, is Ask Henry for Kielan Woods and Graeme McPherson. Now, at the current time of recording, you can back this with Skybet at 17-2, and they're offering 4 places on this race, and I'm going to recommend an each way selection here. Now, this horse, I think, has got a really good chance in this race, and there's quite a bit of value. Now, if we look at his form on the whole, he brings some good form into this race. He was last seen finishing in 5th place at Ascot in a conditionals jockeys race, the first one on the card that day. And despite finishing in 5th place, I think that was a better run than the bare results suggest. Now, if we look at the form, it's actually worked out quite well in the last week or two. You had the 2nd place horse win today at Wetherby for Ian Williams. And also as well, there was a horse in there called Expectations for Pam Sly. That won a race at Market Raising at the weekend. And there's a couple of other horses in there that have run some decent races in some fair events, but in arguably more stronger races than our selection, Ask Henry, is going to be running in tomorrow. Also as well, if you go back through some of his form, he actually wasn't too far beaten by a horse of Dr. Richard Newland's at Sedgefield a couple of months ago called Marine One, who went on to win a really decent handicap at Cheltenham, I think it was back in October there. So yeah, a lot of nice form there with Ask Henry, and he's got a rating of 117. Now, he is going to be stepping up in trip tomorrow, but the way he shaped at Ascot suggests that he should really relish it. Also as well, the ground that day at Ascot, even though it was described as good to soft, there had been a bit more rain around than people had expected, and they hadn't actually changed the go. And if I remember, they changed it to soft later on during the day, but it was quite testing conditions, and I don't think that would have been up his street. However, going on a better surface tomorrow, returning to the good ground at Taunton, will definitely be a positive. I think the track will suit him as well, and also as well, going up in trip, he shapes like he's going to appreciate going up in trip to 3 miles. There's a lot of horses in here, in my personal opinion, like Hugo's other horse, that you have to respect from the Paul Nicholls stable, but ran an absolute stinker last time. And also as well, Nicky Henson's got one in here, Captain Woody, and there's a couple of others as well that I think are exposed. Fubar as well, there's another one for Kim Bailey. Obviously, you've got to respect Kim Bailey and David Bass at the moment, but you might remember we put up Fubar a few runs ago at Exeter when he looked like he maybe should have won that day when Chester Williams was aboard. But yeah, I don't think this is a particularly strong race. And if there's going to be a couple of types in here that I think are likely to be better than their mark, I think Ask Henry is one of them and does represent quite a bit of value at 17-2. So that's why he is going to be my next best of the day, and I'm going to recommend an each way selection there. We then go to the nap of the day, which runs in the 241 at Taunton with a horse called Sheshoon Sunny. Currently you can get this at 5-1 for Tom Bellamy and Alan King. Now, at the time of recording, there's 4 places on offer with all firms for this race. That's because there's 16 runners or more, and when that's the case, you get your 4 places. So fingers crossed there's not a non-runner in there tomorrow, and it means we get a quarter of the odds as well for the each way terms, and that's why I think Sheshoon Sunny at 5-1 tomorrow is worth an each way bet. Now, I'm really confident on this selection to go very close and make the frame. Now, if you watch his last race back at Taunton, I would not at Taunton, sorry, at Sandown, I would urge anyone to go back and watch that race replay at Sandown behind Mr. Coffee. He was definitely the one, along with Mr. Coffee, to take out the race, because at one point he was badly outpaced, but he was staying up that hill really strongly, and in the end picked up really well and stayed on very well in the closing furlong, suggesting that going up and trip is going to be more his cup of tea. Now, I think he'll strip a lot fitter for that run, and also as well, I think going up and trip as well will bring out some improvement in him, and also as well returning to a better surface. Again, it was quite attritional that day at Sandown, and the good ground I think will suit as well. It's going to be good ground, like I said earlier, to Taunton tomorrow, so that will suit. I think the track will suit as well. He's a good strong travelling type, but he's quite versatile as well. He doesn't have to be held up right at the back, he can be up there as well, just tracking the pace. So I think he's quite a versatile horse, and he's still only a 5-year-old. Got off a mark of 117 now. I think that's definitely a very workable mark here for this horse, and I just think he might have needed that run under his belt to then step forward. Also as well, Alan King's horses have been running quite well of late, you know, so that's another tick in the box. And also as well, if we look at the form of that race, he's going to be taking on Nordic Combined again, who he beat comprehensively last time. I just think he's still a really progressive horse that we haven't got quite into the bottom of yet. He's going to be carrying a nice racing weight as well. I think it's 10 stone 13. Yes, there's a couple of horses in here like Air Horse 1, who's a horse I've got a lot of time for, been an old favourite of mine down the years for Harry Fry. I remember backing him when he was going on his sequence of wins a few years ago now. Okay, last year he did win on his second start at Foss Last and really testing ground, and does have a good record at Taunton. However, I just think he might just be getting on a little bit now, and I would probably want to swerve him, but I expect him to set a good pace, you know, with a couple of errors in here, and it could just set up quite nicely for Sheshoon Sunny. And at 5-1, I think he's a good bet tomorrow, and yeah, I'll be disappointed if he couldn't go very close. So that is going to be the nap of the day, Sheshoon Sunny in the 241 at Taunton. So quickly just recap there. In the 111 at Taunton, Ask Henry is the next best of the day, 17-2, 4 places each way, Skybet. And then in the 241 at Taunton, Sheshoon Sunny, 4-1 each, no, 5-1 each way. Sorry. So yeah, they're the 2 tips for tomorrow's racing. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit the subscribe button to more videos here on my YouTube channel. Also as well, if you're liking them, please remember to give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate all the support you give me. And also as well, if you want to follow me on Twitter, my handle is @LuckyLoaders15. And if you want to find out a bit more about myself, my website is www.chrisloaderracing.co.uk. So please game responsibly. Hopefully we can have some winners tomorrow, and we'll be seeing you soon.